Okay, hello. Welcome to the stream.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine. So, you apparently believe, and this is against my better judgment bringing you on, so please behave. But you believe that a group of satanic pedophiles are part of the government or something? Lay out to me exactly what you think is going on and all that.
Okay. Well, I don't even want to start this conversation unless you're honestly willing to review information that you might not have seen, because this is not an easy topic to even begin to investigate.
Sure, I'm always willing to evaluate claims and evidence. Now, someone sent me a link to something I think you linked earlier, though, and it was just like a one-page document that like didn't have a source. So I would hope if you're going to provide stuff like that, that it's going to be, you know,
Yeah,
sourceable.
that was a document. That's an FBI document. You can look that up. That came out in 2008 when Epstein got his plea deal.
Yeah.
And it basically explained that Epstein was an informant for the FBI, and that was Robert Mueller's FBI.
Okay. And
So, are you comfortable with a pedophile being an informant for the FBI, working with the intelligence agencies? Does that seem like a legit thing to you?
again, can I have a source for this?
Yeah, you can look that up. That came out in Alexander Acosta's. I don't know what you would call it, but he was the attorney who gave Epstein the plea deal in 2008, and he claimed that Epstein belonged to intelligence. That was the direct quote.
Let me see if there's any sort of Snopes thing on this one way or another.
Well, you should probably look for the actual document instead of trying to find something that whitewashes it.
Oh, so you think Snopes is fake news?
It can be useful in some cases, but it's also probably used to hide things that they don't want revealed.
So how do you determine which are useful and which articles are hiding something?
Well, you have to review the actual source documents themselves.
Sure, but Snopes always provides those. They always provide sources, so.
Okay. So, were you okay with that plea deal that
Hold on,
Epstein
I'm
got?
reading an article about it. I'll read this article out loud. A California Democrat gave credence to a wild Jeffrey Epstein theory on Capitol Hill this week, asking a top Justice Department official whether the serial predator was an undercover FBI informant. A report said Representative Jackie Speer reportedly asked John Demers, the Assistant Attorney General of the National Security Division, the way off-topic question at the House Intelligence Committee briefing on the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, set to expire in several weeks. She introduced her inquiry by noting the obvious: it was not on the agenda, the outlet reported. Demers answered that he had no knowledge of Epstein working for the agency, noting that he works for justice, not the FBI. The lawmaker's question was reportedly sourced from a theory that law enforcement may have gone easy on Epstein in his 2007 Miami child sex abuse case because he helped finger his powerful friends. That was phrasing. Epstein, who died by suicide in Manhattan, blah, blah, blah. So they're basically saying that it's so far not something that's substantiated.
No, actually, if you read that quote, he said that he wasn't aware, or that he only worked for the Justice Department, and he wasn't privy to who was an FBI informant or who was a CIA asset. So,
Okay,
no, he actually.
what source do you have that you're claiming this is the case? And I know you said FBI, but that document doesn't come up if you search Epstein FBI informant. There's no information on that. You've shown me a JPEG, but anyone can mock up a JPEG of anything.
No, that was not a mocked up JPEG.
And how are you making that determination?
Because that came out in the 2008 trial. That was an
From
actual
where?
FBI.
Who told you that?
You can find that document easily. It's probably on fucking FBI's website at this point.
Probably.
Like
so you don't know. So you don't know where I can find it directly.
For a fact, that is a legitimate document. That's a very real document.
Based
that
on.
said that Epstein was providing information to the FBI as a part of his 2008 plea deal.
Again, if you have a source for that and you know for a fact it's truthful, then
Okay.
give me the source on that so I can look at it.
Okay, I will do that.
Great. I'm excited.
There's another quote. This is a direct quote from Alexander Acosta, who designed the plea deal in 2008, that he was told that, the quote is, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone."
Okay,
so what do you think that means, though?
Who said that, and what's the source for them saying that?
Who said that was Alexander Acosta. He was the U.S. attorney who manufactured that plea deal in 2008.
Okay, and what's the source for that quote?
From his fucking mouth, yo. You can Google that.
No. I'm asking you to provide me a source that says he actually said that.
Okay. Just Google the words "Epstein belonged to intelligence."
Sure.
And you will find 18 million fucking articles that prove that. Okay, so that is a legitimate document. This is what I'm saying. Like, you can't dismiss these things so quickly.
If you don't provide sources. I absolutely can.
Well,
that's talking points
fine.
Memo.
Look, that's fine, Hannah. If you want people to provide you sources, that's okay. But you're not doing that. You're dismissing it, calling me ridiculous, trying to gaslight me and anyone who tries to talk about these things when you have never done any research on it.
Me asking for sources is gaslighting you?
No, that's not all you did.
Okay. What did I do?
Laughed when it was even suggested.
Yeah.
Called me batshit crazy. I'm sure I'm not the first person you've done this to, because your whole channel seems to be built around debunking conspiracy theories.
Not the whole channel, just Tuesdays.
Just Tuesdays. My apologies. Okay, I'm a new viewer, and I'm not trying to be like. Honestly, I'm just venting a lot of frustration.
I can tell.
Here, and it's not even necessarily directed at you. And I'm not even reading the chat right now because I'm sure that would distract the hell out of me. But this shit is real, okay? The Jeffrey Epstein case was protected by the government.
Sure, maybe. The quote, by the way, is correct. Let's see where he said this. Epstein, an American attorney and politician, United States Secretary of Labor. Let me see if I can find the actual quote. What did you say?
Epstein belonged to intelligence. And you have to understand, at that time, the only people who were above Alexander Acosta who could have given him these directions was the head of the FBI, who at the time...
But you understand that someone saying something doesn't necessarily mean it's true, and it might be. I don't know. The document you provided, though, which actually you didn't provide to me, and you didn't provide a source. So this is someone saying this, but there are no other sources to my knowledge of that existing. But, like, let's even grant you that for a second, just because, whatever. I want to continue the conversation. So let's say Jeffrey Epstein was an informant for the FBI. Right. How does that mean that there is a cabal of satanic pedophiles inside the government?
Okay. So, the Epstein situation, people were aware that this was continuing after his 2008 plea deal. It was a rampage of child abuse that was going on.
Sure.
All
the Epstein situation is incredibly fucked. I recognize that, and I think basically everyone recognizes that he was a monster that shouldn't have been given such an easy deal in 2008 or whatever. I think everyone basically is on the same page about that.
Yes, I agree. But are you aware of who was accused of participating in this pedophile ring? Did you follow that story?
I mean, probably a lot of people. Prince Andrew, I think. Bill Clinton, Trump. Tons of people were potentially implicated.
Right. Well, a lot of politicians in the United States, like Bill Richardson, George Mitchell, who is a prominent senator, and Richardson was the governor of New Mexico. There were scientists, a lot of scientists, top professors at MIT and Harvard.
I don't know about the MIT Harvard thing, but yeah, I think the entire idea
No,
behind Jeffrey Epstein's thing
That
was
is
he was
true.
basically he was a pimp for the wealthy. He would provide underage individuals for wealthy people to sleep with.
Exactly. And why do you think this was protected by the government? Or why do you think that the government turned a blind eye?
I don't think
Or do
they
you think
turned a blind eye. I think they just really, really suck at their job. I think they suck at their job, and there's probably some people within government who would be implicated, but again, that doesn't make the government as a whole full of Satanists. I'm not seeing where you're getting the Satanist thing. That's like a QAnon conspiracy that they think that, like, oh, they're Satanists and they're harvesting adrenochrome and all sorts of nonsense.
Okay, let's explore that. Okay. Have you ever actually looked at Jeffrey Epstein's island? And I'm not just talking about the temple, because it was a much larger island than that. And if you actually look at the artifacts that they have on this island, including a sundial, which is identical to Babylonian sun worship.
Hold on. You're going to have to slow down. So you think there's the sundial somehow makes it Babylonian sun worship. You know that Babylonians didn't worship Satan, though, right? So worshiping the sun, first of all, I don't think they were worshiping the sun because they had a sundial. Second of all, you know that sun worship isn't satanic, right?
I'm not 100, like, I don't know all about the fucking occult terminology or exactly where this stuff originates. So that's not really the point that I'm making here. But it is very clear, not only when you look at the artifacts, the artwork that Ghislaine Maxwell had in her house, you should look into that as well. And the stuff on Jeffrey Epstein's island, it's clear that these people were into the occult. And not only that...
Hold on one second. Let me grab something. Just hold on. Don't say anything for a second. Give me a minute.
I was going to say that there are quotes from victims of this pedophile ring that they were...
Gotta put my headphones back in. Okay. So, if you look at the stream, I have this statue of Baphomet. Do you think this makes me a Satanist because I own this statue of Baphomet?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, so we agree people can own things like this, and it doesn't mean they're Satanists.
Okay, well, it's not... Look, the idea of... It doesn't really matter if it's Satanist or Satanism or Luciferianism or what exactly their fucked up beliefs were, but it was a fucked up occult belief.
Why do you... Occult? What about it's a cult?
Okay, have you... Like I said, you should really look into the artwork on the island and the different artifacts. It's clearly...
Well, my understanding is that we were going to have a conversation that you would bring... You know, if you're going to tell me, look into this thing, why didn't you just bring sources or links or, you know, you should be able to convince, at least to a certain extent. Let's Google it, though. We'll Google it together.
Well, I can't even provide any fucking links. I'm banned from the Twitch chat.
Sure, but you could, we're in a Discord call right now, and you could send me links in this call. But that aside, let's take a look. What did you want me to Google? Like art that was at Epstein's Island?
Okay, I can send you. Can I send pictures through Discord? I've literally never used this service.
You should be able to, yes. Let's take a look. Here's an article that says Epstein's Island. A look at these disturbing paintings. Is this something like this? Is this what you're talking about?
I don't know. Well, I can't see any of the paintings in that article. Okay, let me send you a picture of the sundial. Okay, I mean, we're kind of getting stuck on the minutia anyways. Like, you have to really ask yourself, if he was so. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's pretty well established that Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein were very close friends.
They were certainly at least associates, I know that. It wouldn't surprise me if Bill Clinton was implicated in this. It wouldn't surprise me if Donald Trump was implicated. Or a variety
Right.
of, very wealthy people.
Right. So do you think that's not a conflict of interest that Hillary Clinton was the head of the State Department during all of this? Do you think that she was just totally unaware of what Epstein was doing?
I have no idea.
Well, ask yourself, what do you think?
It would probably be a conflict of interest if she was, in fact, in head of the State Department and made decisions relevant to this. But that's not the discussion, right? I think we all agree, like I already said, the Epstein situation is fucked up, and I'm sure there are plenty of people, wealthy people in the private sector and government officials, like Bill Clinton, like Donald Trump, who are probably implicated in some way. We've agreed to that. Your assertion is that it's like a cabal of Satanists, which is a completely different claim.
Okay, I mean, the satanic part of this is not only very hard to prove, but it's also not even really
Epstein's plea deal was in 2008. Yeah. I assume prior to Hillary being part of the State Department, she didn't get put into place until Obama got elected in late 2008, and he didn't get into office until 2009.
Yes, but I'm not talking about the plea deal. I'm talking about his activities after the plea deal, which continued to abuse children. And I think it's ridiculous to think that Hillary Clinton was completely unaware of these activities.
I would have no idea. You're making assertions about whether or not someone like Hillary Clinton knows when I would have no idea. And you would have no idea for that matter, too. Like, if your husband is going off to sleep with underage people at an island, why would you necessarily know about that? Would you tell your wife, bye, honey, I'm off to go bang underage children on Pedo Island. Bye.
Right, yeah, I'm sure she had no idea. She was probably just... She probably didn't even notice that Ghislaine Maxwell attended her daughter's wedding, nothing like that.
Why do you assume she's privy to that stuff? Just because, like...
Oh, yeah, she didn't know. Yeah, she didn't know that the Clinton Foundation was funding Ghislaine Maxwell's bullshit Terramar Foundation. She didn't know about that.
The Clinton Foundation gives money to all sorts of organizations. I very much doubt Hillary or Bill are privy to every single organization that money gets sent to. This is how rich people work. They give money to each other's charities and shit as tax write-offs.
Okay, so you really think that she had no idea. Hillary Clinton was just completely in the dark about all of this stuff.
I think it's possible. I'm not asserting either way. I don't know, and neither do you, for that matter. You're making assertions without providing any sort of evidence that you actually, were convinced of that. You just assume that.
I'm not saying I know things one way or another, but if you actually examine the evidence, it's very clear. Okay. Do you know what the Terramar Foundation is?
Nope.
Okay, that's Ghislaine Maxwell's charity.
Okay.
Some bullshit ocean save the fish charity. Okay.
Do you not like fish? Are fish bad? Should we kill all the fish?
No, I'm just saying it's they did very little, if any, actual charitable work.
Okay.
Okay, and this was funded by the Clinton Foundation.
Okay, I assume it's one of many, many things that the Clinton Foundation has given money to. It's a foundation. That's what they do.
Well, I mean, the Clinton Foundation itself is another can of worms because I don't even want to get into all of that shit.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to, unless you want to, but I'm just trying to focus squarely on the pedophile blackmail operations that were going on in the American government. And not only...
How about the Satanism thing? Because that's what interests me about this conversation is the assertion that it's satanic in nature.
Okay. I'm going to send you some pictures on the Discord here.
Okay.
And if you want to pull these up, I fully implore you to do so on your stream. Okay. I think it's working here. Yeah, this picture here is taken from Ghislaine Maxwell's house.
Wait, now I have to be a boomer. Where do I actually look at the photos? Hold on.
I'm in the Twitch stream chat on the Discord.
Why can't I actually get to the stream chat? That's annoying.
I don't know what the chat is saying. I'm sure the chat probably hates me, and I'm sorry you feel that way if you guys hate me, but I'm just trying to spread the truth here and ask these questions because these are important questions that our media has failed to ask.
Okay, but like you're asserting again pedophilia based on Satanism. So we know pedophilia was taking place in regard to the Epstein thing, but you haven't substantiated the Satanism thing. Again, sorry, stream chat, duh. Sorry, I'm going to it. Why can't I get in there? God damn it. God, now I'm the boomer. I hate it. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's not just a regular sundial. Look at where the numbers are on that sundial.
Hold on, my okay, there we go. I'm getting it to work.
Okay, you notice that third picture I posted of this, what looks like a pit, some kind of like enclosure.
Okay, so I see the sundial. It's like a big sundial with a sun on it. Sure.
Right. Okay, you see that the pit thing I posted. Well, if you can look that up on Google Maps if you go to Little St. James Island, and they actually on Google Maps they literally photoshopped a tennis court on it.
On the where the sundial is?
Oh, where this fucking gladiator pit. I don't even know what the hell it is.
Gladiator.
It's some kind of pit.
Oh, it probably used to be a tennis court, and then they got rid of it for some reason and built that. Why are you calling it a gladiator pit? I
don't know what it is. It's very strange, though.
It looks like there used to be a tennis court there, and then they removed it.
The size of it. That is way too big to be a tennis court. You can see a road right next to it. That is way too big to be a tennis court.
Okay.
But they literally photoshopped it on the fucking Google Images and on the Apple Maps as well.
Okay, I'm looking at the picture, and it just looks like it's the same area, but with a tennis court on it. So at some point they had a tennis court there, still with the surrounding thing, and then they removed the tennis court for some reason.
Okay, well, can you explain the first picture I posted?
The sundial? Oh, no, this thing. The thing with what is this? That's
in Ghislaine Maxwell's home.
Okay, it's like a weird art piece with a guy with a weird beard.
No, that's not just a weird art piece. If you look at exactly what that is, that's a mask and a cloak.
Okay.
What do you think that is for, if not some fucked up occult shit?
Hold on, I have a cloak right here. Am I into occult shit because I have a cloak sitting right next to me?
Does it have a mask with a demon face on it?
I could get one.
You pull that up on the stream. Show your viewers exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, hold on.
Because this was in Ghislaine Maxwell's home.
Okay.
Hung up. So you don't think that suggests that she had some fucked up occult ideations?
No.
No, of course not, right?
This is like Pizzagate level shit right here, where they're like, oh my god, they hosted an artist that has edgy material, so they must be Satanists.
Right, yes, normal people do that, yeah.
Yeah, we do, actually.
Show you exactly what it is. Like, honestly,
I am, it's on the stream, they can see it, they're laughing at you.
Very small. Whatever.
I mean, I'm just letting you know, your evidence is literally just, look, I think this thing's weird.
Like I said, the satanic aspect of it is not even really, it's not at all the key issue.
I mean, it would be if Satan was real, but Satan isn't real, so it's fine.
Okay, well, that's another discussion you can have. But like I said, that's not the most important issue.
Okay.
Like, the real part of the issue is that there was child abuse going on that was protected by the government because they were collecting blackmail.
Oh, we definitely don't know that. That's complete conjecture on your part.
No. Okay, you can look up, what's his name? Fuck. Ari Ben Menashe. He was a former Mossad. I don't know if you want me to pull up an article. You can just Google his name.
I cannot spell that off the top of my head. I wouldn't be able to if it was life or death. I couldn't spell that. So.
Menashe. You can sound that out. Menashe.
If you have a link it in Twitch stream chat, or in the Twitch stream chat channel in Discord.
Well, let me just explain it first, though. He was a Mossad operative, a very famous one, who's on record about this. And if you don't know what the Mossad is, that's Israel's intelligence agency.
Okay.
So it's like their CIA. So he's on record saying that that's precisely what Epstein's job was. It was to collect blackmail on important political, business, scientific, and financial people. And
so one person who used to work for Israeli intelligence says a thing, and therefore you believe them? Recently a different Israeli intelligence person said that aliens exist, have visited Earth, and that the world leaders know about it. Do you also believe that because an Israeli intelligence agent said it?
No, not necessarily.
Oh, but wait, that's the standard of evidence you're using for this claim, so why is the other one not okay?
Because he's not the only person making these claims. He's just the one that, if you actually look into his claims...
Other people claim that aliens have visited Earth, too, outside of this Israeli agent. However, that seemed to be your standard of evidence. An Israeli agent said it, and so did other people.
Okay, what about all of the... Look, so many of his victims have said, not only just his victims, but the police, after his residences were raided, talk extensively about the number of cameras, how there were cameras everywhere.
Yeah, it's a sex island with underage kids. There's cameras everywhere. It's his private island where he's committing crimes.
Yes, and what do you think these crimes were? The rape of children. And what do you think these cameras were doing? Recording all of that. So what do you think they actually did with this footage?
I assume he held onto it to blackmail his clients.
There you go.
Sure, that doesn't mean the FBI was involved in the blackmail, which is your assertion. He absolutely had blackmail on people, but it was for his business. I have no reason to assume the FBI was involved.
Okay. Well, you're aware of who Ghislaine Maxwell is, right?
Yeah.
Are you aware of who her father was?
No.
Okay. Well, you should really educate yourself on this case before you try to dismiss things I say. Because Ghislaine Maxwell's father is the most famous Mossad agent of all time, Robert Maxwell.
Okay.
So, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell have extensive connections to the Israeli government.
So because her father worked for the Israeli government, that automatically means that they were working with the FBI? You understand that doesn't track, right?
That's obviously not the only reason that I believe that Epstein was providing this blackmail.
It's the reason you gave in this particular instance, so...
No, have you not listened to anything I've said?
I have.
Well, then you would know that the FBI gave Jeffrey Epstein an extremely lenient plea deal in 2008.
Yeah, because rich people get away with shit all the time.
Well, then ask yourself why. What was involved in that plea deal? How long has Jeffrey Epstein been an informant for the FBI?
Again, you're asserting he's an informant for the FBI, which you can't just assert.
That's a fact. No, that's a fact. In the
Oh,
original
you're saying
document,
it's a fact, therefore it's a fact? Okay, Jeffrey Epstein is not an informant for the FBI. That's a fact. And
you're
now we're
wrong about
tied.
No, you remember that first document I provided you?
Which was sourceless.
Fuck you. I can find the source very
Then do it! Then if it's that easy, then do it. Find it.
Okay.
Cool.
But the fact is, Epstein provided information to the FBI, and that is in government
That's your
documents.
assertion.
No, that's in government documents.
Show me the government documents and source them from sources that show they are government documents.
Okay, I got it right here.
Okay.
So you're laughing at these things, and you really have no idea about any of the information I've brought up.
Right. I'm laughing because you're doing a bad job. If this was all true, that would be one thing, but it's not. But let's say it was for a second, you would still be doing a really bad job showing that it's true. That's the issue. Like, even if it came out tomorrow that you were right, then you still did a terrible job at this. Oh, hold on. Someone sent a thing. What is this?
Look, I just linked it in the Discord.
Sure, I'll look at it in a sec.
Epstein had also provided information to the FBI as agreed upon, which literally means he
Someone
was
says the Ghislaine Maxwell father Mossad thing was debunked.
It's not debunked. Fucking kidding me?
I'm just trying to read what it says. Is this the correct article? It looked like maybe the link got cut off. Not you. I'm talking to someone in actual Twitch chat.
It's not debunked. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Robert Maxwell was notorious. He was one of Mossad's most notorious agents. Okay, you can look up Rafi. Shit, I don't even remember his name, but Robert Maxwell was a salesman for the Promise software, for the Mossad, selling Promise software to other governments.
Hold on. Mossad I'll read this. Hold on. The Foreign Office suspected that Maxwell was a secret agent of a foreign government, possibly a double agent or a triple agent, and a thoroughly bad character and almost certainly financed by Russia. He had been known links to the British Secret Intelligence Service, MI6, the Soviet KGB, and to the Israeli intelligence service, Mossad. 6 serving and former heads of Israeli intelligence services attended Maxwell's funeral in Israel, while Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir eulogized him and stated he has done more for Israel than can be told. Shortly before Maxwell's death, a former employee of Israel's military intelligence directorate, Ari Ben Menash, I'm probably mispronouncing that, approached a number of news organizations in Britain and the U.S. with allegation that Maxwell and the Daily Mirror's foreign editor, Nicholas Davies, were both longtime agents for Mossad, blah, blah, blah. So this one person claims it. I guess it's possible. I don't know. Eventually, blah, 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 repeated some of the allegations. Hirsch's book about Israel's nuclear options and conservative MP, also known as Nigel West, agreed to raise the issue, blah, blah, blah. Let me just Google this guy and that. Robert Maxwell. I'll get to your thing in a second, too. I know you're...
Look, I just want to say this, because I don't want to stay in this for too long. But the whole reason that I wanted to have this conversation with you, and I appreciate you for letting me have this conversation and talking to me here, is because I noticed that a lot of people automatically dismiss the idea of government-protected pedophile rings and blackmail operations going on because maybe they heard about they've heard about it, but they think it's a QAnon thing, and they think the QAnon stuff is all...
Because most people who believe that are QAnon believers.
Sure, but if you automatically dismiss these things, that's exactly how they want you to think.
Who's they?
They don't... The people who are participating and have participated in these operations.
Sure, but like, who's in charge? Who's in charge of this operation?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah?
I don't fucking know.
Okay.
But we ask those questions because they are legitimate issues that we're facing in society right now.
Sure, but
And the
do you
more we just
understand that
laugh it
people...
off,
and this
and
is...
then no. Just let me. Sorry. The more
Go
we
ahead.
just laugh it off and not even ask these questions and just dismiss them as conspiracy theories.
Right, you know what would help you? Drop the
Allowing-
satanic thing.
Look, it's not even really that important of an issue, but when you talk about the QAnon stuff, a big part of that is satanic pedophile cults.
Yeah, which is
Which
ridiculous.
are real, and that is exactly what the Epstein case was about.
Why do you think they're Satanists? Why do you think that they are Satanists?
Because multiple victims of Jeffrey Epstein have stated that they even claim that Jeffrey Epstein even claimed himself that he was a Satanist.
So you're saying that someone else said he said that. This is you saying
No,
they said he said.
Very credible victims of Epstein
Okay.
have said this.
Do you have a source on the satanic claims?
I mean, you can Google that. But not only that, that's not the only thing. I mean, if you actually look into their residences, their homes, and the artwork that they have.
Right. So far, the things that you thought were satanic, though, were a
occult
pit
stuff,
where
but
a
at the same time,
tennis court used to be, a weird mask, and a sundial, none of which are satanic.
Well, if you honestly think those things are all just completely normal in the context of this whole situation,
Do I
then
think rich people have weird stuff? Yes, I do. By the way, what can you define Satanism? Like, what do you think these supposed Satanists believe exactly?
Well, I don't actually think that they call themselves Satanists, honestly.
Okay, so
I think that religious ideas are probably so obscure that I would have no idea how to even begin to define it.
So in what way are they Satanists? If they don't even self-describe as Satanists, how are they Satanists?
Well, I use the term Satanism, or that they're satanic cults, because that's what people generally understand. But
oh, so when you say Satanism, you just mean they're evil. You don't actually mean they're Satanists in any way, shape, or form. It's just like putting a very in front of it. You mean they're very, very, very bad pedophile cultists when you say satanic cultists.
no, I mean that there's a religious or a spiritual aspect to the child abuse.
In what way? And for what reason?
Well, have you ever heard of Frankian Satanism?
No.
I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's essentially the idea where you can. I mean, this is really getting into the weeds with this stuff, so I don't even know if you really want to go into these theories.
I want to go into the weeds. I want to get a machete and I want to trek like I'm in a jungle movie.
Okay. Well, from what I understand, and this is what I believe is that Epstein. What I believe that Epstein believed. And it's that you can usher in the Antichrist by creating a world so sinful that Jesus returns, or some shit like that. If you Google, I know I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this.
So you think...
Because it's,
okay, let me just clarify. You think Jeffrey Epstein was trying to fuck children hard enough that the Antichrist would appear in the world?
pretty much. Yeah, it's the worship of evil.
I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, do you believe that Satan and the Antichrist exist? Like, are you of the opinion that this plan would have worked, or do you just think this is something they believed?
Well, I want to know what you believe. What do you think? Do you think that Satan is real? Or
No,
the idea of Satan?
no, I don't. I don't believe in the supernatural.
So are you atheist?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm not. Personally,
Okay.
I do believe that God does exist and Satan does exist.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, what was the question then?
Do you think that Jeffrey Epstein's plan was going to work? Or is that just something he believed that was incorrect?
I really don't know.
So you think it's possible that Jeffrey Epstein molesting children could have ushered in the end times?
No, because the situation extends far beyond Jeffrey Epstein. These kinds of child abuse networks, these religiously motivated child abuse networks, are worldwide. Okay, this isn't just.
Okay, do you think the collective molestation of children all over the world is going to lead to the apocalypse?
Well, again, it's not just about child abuse. It's about widespread corruption of all aspects of civilization.
Okay, do you understand that this sort of rhetoric has been going around for millennia, and the idea that the corruption of the world is so corrupt and it's the worst it's ever been, and the end is near? This is like end times prophecy 101, and it's never come true.
Well, we're getting way off of the subject that I came into the Discord to talk about.
I mean, I think it's pretty interesting, honestly. I don't understand why you believe this stuff.
I've done research now on these kinds of subjects for years. So to try to distill it all into one conversation and explain all the reasons why I believe what I believe, it's that's a very difficult thing to do.
So by research, you mean you've Googled things, right? Because that's not really what research means. Research would be like, academic research, not Googling stuff and reading 4chan posts and watching a call for an uprising on YouTube.
Right, and what have you done to research?
I'm not invested in the idea that there is satanic cultists, so I don't look that up.
Oh, so you're not invested, but you still think that you're allowed to, not allowed, but that you're informed enough to be able to debunk conspiracy theories, even though you're admitting...
Yes, they're very easy to debunk most of the time. They're pretty ridiculous. Wait, you're not a flat earther too, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, that's a bummer. That would have been a fun conversation.
No, see, I agree with you on a lot of things. Like, criticizing Elon Musk, I'm with you there, okay?
Sure.
I do not want fucking Elon Musk wires in my brain, okay? Neuralink is one of the most fucking weird things I've ever learned about. And people are fucked up for worshiping him. Okay,
sure.
But like I said, we're totally off track, and I was not intending on getting into a metaphysical discussion about Satan. And
why do you think, I mean, this is just real quick. Why do you think Satan exists?
Why do I think that Satan exists?
Yeah.
Why do you think that the concept of evil exists? Why do you think humans are capable of committing evil? And
because we generally define evil as harming one another or doing harm to others, and that's something we are capable of doing. There are actions that are beneficial, there are actions that are neutral, and there are actions that are harmful. And when people do harmful actions, we consider those things evil. Morality is a way of organizing how we see actions that are negative and cause negative consequences for other people and ourselves.
Right, I agree with that. But let me clarify. I don't believe that Satan is like a walking guy with goat legs and horns. That's not what I mean when I say I believe that Satan exists. I'm talking about more like the conceptual spirit of evil. That is what Satan is.
Like Santa Claus isn't a real being that exists. He's the spirit of Christmas. Santa Claus was in all of us all along. You're being like poetic about it?
No, I'm saying that Satan is a mental construct which has been around for thousands of years.
Right, but that's not Satan though. That's just people being malicious or evil or selfish. That's not Satan. That's just, a character that we ascribe those characteristics. Like, there are all sorts of religions all around the world that have different, like, constructs for different concepts. It doesn't mean those things are real. They can be culturally important and individually important to people, but...
All right. Well, I'm not really interested in getting into a conversation about this.
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about that I won't... I'll try not to derail you if there's anything else you wanted to talk about.
Well, I guess I would just say I recognize I probably have not done a great job of explaining my position.
No.
And I hope that people who are listening, don't just think about what I said and make your decision based off of that. Actually look into these subjects and don't just dismiss them because you think that they're too absurd to even consider. Like, actually look into these things.
I will. The day people actually bring sources to me that provide convincing evidence, I will be the first one to agree with you.
I respect that you're saying that, Hannah, but that's not how you behaved when I brought up this whole topic.
Right, because you brought up Satanism.
No. You immediately dismissed everything I said without ever considering or without ever asking for a source. You immediately laughed it off.
I asked for sources all throughout this conversation, and the best you provided me were like 3 or 4 pictures that showed like a Halloween mask, a tennis court, and a sundial, and saying just Google it isn't a source, nor is it research for that matter.
Because obviously the satanic part of this is so minuscule in compared to what I'm actually talking about, which is government-sponsored pedophilia blackmail networks.
It feels like Satanism would be a pretty big part if it were part of it. Satan kind of sucks if he doesn't, take precedence here, but okay.
Not really. It's the children who are victimized that are the most important issue.
Okay, here's what I think. I think while you are correct in that there are children being victimized all around the world by child trafficking, which is a real problem, people like you who try and make connections with Satanism and all sorts of out there stuff actively harm people trying to actively go out there and actually do things to prevent child trafficking because you get it conflated with crazy bullshit like this. You are actively hurting the children that you purport to help, and you are making people who care about subjects like child trafficking look foolish by association. You are actively doing the opposite of what you were intending to do, and you should probably be ashamed of yourself.
So you still deny that the Epstein network was protected by government? You still think that's totally batshit crazy? No way.
Oh, I have no idea. I'm sure there were actors within government that certainly felt the need to conceal it for a number of reasons, up to and including massive donors, wanting to keep their proclivities secret. Sure, but you're not claiming that. You came in here with satanic pedophile cult, which is an entirely different thing. You're acting like this is a concerted effort by some secret club that meets in the middle of the night somewhere with lighting down to here so you can't see their faces going, how do we... No, that's not how it works. Independent negative actors can make actions independently that do terrible things. Right?
Okay, so you're saying that they're independent actors and there's no sort of organization around them.
No, I don't think there's a pedo network LLC that's out here making decisions like that, no.
Well, see, you're acknowledging that you believe that there was government actors participating in these child rape networks.
To an extent. Like I said, people like Bill Clinton. I'm sure there are some senators involved.
Exactly. So where are the arrests? We have not gotten any arrests. Barely any information.
Jeffrey Epstein got arrested and then got offed, and then we have Ghislaine Maxwell, who's been arrested and is in custody currently.
Right. I'm talking about actual people in government or in high positions of business. We have not seen a lot of traction in terms of actually getting accountability for what happened.
Sure. We'll see what happens.
So you have to now understand that the people who are really into QAnon and who are investigating these things, this is what they're investigating. They're investigating who was involved.
They're doing a terrible job.
Well, that's from your perspective, okay?
Reality, yeah.
Because what have you done to research to look into this?
I'm not an FBI agent, so I don't feel the need to look into crimes when I don't have the resources to appropriately address or investigate these things, because I don't have delusions of grandeur.
So instead, you just try to gaslight and demean people who are trying to make an effort to look into these things and hold some people accountable.
Demean, I don't know, make fun of people who have delusions of grandeur that think that spending time on 4chan is going to unveil a secret cabal of Satanists. Yes, I will make fun of those people. Correct.
Well, I mean, you have to understand that we have the same goals, okay? And I'm not attacking you. I've never attacked anyone who tries to investigate, research, or spread information about these things. But that's what you do. That's what you're doing.
Yes, because I think you're actively hurting actual investigations. I think you're actively hurting actual campaigns to try and get people to have awareness about actual child trafficking. I think you bring down the entirety of actual like efforts to save children when you participate in stuff like this.
I recognize that there are people in the QAnon movement who have ruined people's lives with baseless accusations and conflated different controversies and have done a lot to harm actual investigations into child trafficking networks.
Sure.
But there has also been a lot of legitimate research and legitimate connections that have been made, not only pertaining to the Epstein stuff and not only just pertaining to pedophile networks, but corruption in all aspects of government and business. So it's really not cool to just make fun of people who do that kind of research. It is when
they're completely terrible at that attempt. It is when their attempts are laughable. Yes.
It's not always terrible, though. That's the thing.
It is always terrible. You do not have the capability to research and investigate these things appropriately. You are not an FBI agent. You're not Columbo. You're not going to figure this out sitting on your computer looking at 4chan.
So you're just going to rely on authorities to do all this stuff for you and make fun of any sort of citizen.
When I get sick, I go to the doctor, yes.
Right, so you trust the FBI unconditionally to take care of these pedophile networks. The same
unconditionally? FBI. No. Do I trust the FBI more than you? Yes.
The same FBI that gave Epstein the plea deal and that he was informing for.
I think you have a much higher opinion of you than I do if you think that I would in any universe trust you more than the FBI to solve a crime.
You don't have to trust me. But you are now giving all authority to the FBI saying that, oh, they'll take care of this stuff.
They're the only ones with the authority to do so. I'm not saying the FBI is the best thing ever, very much the opposite, but you're not going to do anything about it, and I don't think your investigation has done anything, specifically because all you're doing is looking things up on Google and feeding into conspiracy theories.
Well, listen, Hannah, you have no idea what I've been doing in the last 4 years. So to say I've done nothing to contribute to this, I can tell you right now you're wrong about that, because I have made a difference. And I don't need to justify any of that to you.
Do you feel a general, like, in your everyday life, do you feel unfulfilled, that you feel the need to, like, go and be a part of something bigger than yourself to make yourself feel better? Because that's a normal human thing. If this is what you've done to, like, feel fulfilled, that's understandable.
I'm not even sure how to answer that question.
Okay. Just asking, just because a lot of the time people fall into conspiracy theories because they feel alone, or they feel that they've, like, been alienated from people around them. So they'll find these communities online that give them purpose, that make them feel special, that make them feel smarter than other people tend to treat them. And it feels very fulfilling to those people. And I'm just wondering if your experience with, this sort of stuff online has, been related to anything like that.
I don't think this conversation is productive at this point.
Okay.
But like I said, I appreciate you having me on to just have this discussion. And I would just ask that you and anyone listening to this, don't just dismiss these things that you think are conspiracy theories without ever actually looking into the allegations and to the claims. And to just go on Snopes and read the first thing that you see on Snopes or on the front page of Google and think that that is evidence to confirm or discredit what you consider a conspiracy theory, that's not legitimate. You have to really start asking serious questions about these kinds of topics, like government-sponsored pedophilia networks.
Okay, here's the last thing I'll say to you, and that's people care about you, and you don't need to retreat into these online conspiracy communities to feel fulfilled. You can at any time please come back and re-engage with your family and friends, and recognize that you can be a fulfilled individual with, wonderful thoughts and feelings that are valid without having to resort to these online communities that revel in delusions of grandeur and fake conspiracies and all that stuff. You are a wonderful person that is valid and worthy of love, and you don't need to go online to find these things.
I would appreciate it if you didn't make assumptions about my personal life.
All right. I'd appreciate it if you didn't make assumptions about satanic pedophile cults.
Well, I provided a lot of evidence, and if you want to review that yourself and do more research, because obviously there's a lot more information that I did not provide here, I implore you to do so.
Great. I'll go investigate that picture of the tennis court for a couple hours and see if I can find anything.
All right, Hannah. Well, have a good night then.
You too.
Yep.
Later. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? I definitely found a weak spot. I'm just I think he probably has the same experience a lot of conspiracy theorists do, is that they felt alone and isolated and that they weren't being respected by other people, and went online and found a community that made him feel to be a part of it and respected, and that's how you wind up with people like this. It's a shame. It really is. But, I'm meaner than I should be. I shouldn't go in for the quips when I get the chance, but I can't help myself because I'm trash, so... Anyway, that's our interview with a conspiracy theorist, I guess. I don't know. Maybe we can do that again in the future with some other people. Who knows?